When FNaF VR first released back in May of 2019, it completely broke the boundaries of what was possible in a Five Nights at Freddy's game. I remember back when those first couple FNaF games released back in 2014, and people said just how badly they wanted to see an experience like those games on virtual reality. And thanks to this game, those dreams were possible. And in one of the
FNaF VR was a game about Glitchtrap, who is the main villain. What's odd about him being in this game is that we never really see him and can't really fight him yet. He is the main villain. And what's even odder is that Glitchtrap, a glitch, is in medieval times. Why was Freddy Fazbear even back existing in medieval times? Doesn't really make sense, does it? But let's take a step back here. What else was in medieval times? Well, Hidetaka Miyazaki wrote a brilliant game called Dark Souls. Within this game, we have a character called Artorias, a knight who was tasked to delve into the deepest parts of the abyss and slay all the monsters there. These monsters, of course, are similar to the animatronics that we are tasked to delve into the deepest parts of this pizzeria and destroy. Let's also compare Artorias here to perhaps William Afton, which is a very interesting little symbolism there, is that the player is really supposed to be William Afton in another timeline, killing children who are animatronics now. But much like Artorias, we are in the middle of hordes of animatronics who are children, and we are killing them. So, unlike Artorias, we may not have a dog. Or do we?
Despite the overwhelming amount of hype surrounding its visuals, FNaF VR has always been my favorite example of abhorrent visuals. The visuals are a travesty not only to FNaF, not only to video games, but to the world at large. Everything ranging from the appalling use of lighting to the laughable, worthless textures, to the rubbish UI. It is clearly visible to even the most simple, knuckle-dragging apes calling themselves FNaF fans today that the models are unacceptably dreadful. I suppose Scott thought it would be interesting if the animatronics showed their human souls upon death. And he was right. It is interesting. Interesting that he could be such an unintelligent dullard.
The spookiness of FNaF VR is definitely not up to par with the previous titles. Starting with, this kicking Freddy Fazbear's ass is not scary at all. There is nothing even remotely terrifying. Let's be honest. He is merely a bear. I could mace him, and he would go away. There is no fear in my eyes when I face Freddy. Secondly, the ambience of the screams of the animatronics when you eviscerate them is subpar at best. Mere tripe, similar to the spookiness of analog horror, really. And the restrictiveness of the spooky themes of this is very similar to a certain book. My doors were well. What was it? 1984? Must be it. Oh, and the brightness. Oh, I can see every threat coming. How base and contrived. And the lack of jump scares is simply disappointing. Immeasurably disappointing. It brings tears to my eyes. The previous games were far, far better. That's all.
Despite the overwhelming popular hype, FNaF VR has too few maps to pick from to kick the crap out of all the animatronics in it. I think this is a flaw. Why play FNaF VR when I could be playing Call of Duty Modern Warfare 7 for the Nintendo Switch? That has 56 maps compared to VR's 2. The combat sucks. You can't even dismember the animatronics completely. What's the point if I can't rip off Freddy's face and start wearing it like a mask from FNaF 2? The walls aren't even destructible. What were they thinking? Like, please. What game does not have destructible walls? You know, a game from 2009 for the Xbox 360 named Guerrilla Warfare had breakable walls, and you know, FNaF VR does not. This is a travesty, and I can't think how such a minute detail would go unseen by Scott Cawthon. The physics when you throw the animatronics could have been much better. I mean, when I throw him, he falls like a feather. Big robot, when hit ground, should go big metal. I don't understand how they did not think of this. When metal hit ground, it make big noise. Does Scott not go outside? Does Scott not hit metal against floor on regular basis like I do? I don't understand. I think the gameplay of this game is its worst part, and I don't understand how this game is the thing they make the gameplay not good. You'd think with video game, gameplay first priority. Yeah.